Hi, Misha here, and as we promised before the break, we're gonna kind of re-examine the Swiss imports, SAN SG553R and 76239. Originally, we shot it with this here arm brace on. So let's revisit that real quick, just to remind you. SG553R. SG553R with Wolf.
Clear.
SG553R. SG553R.
Yep.
Jam.
Yep. Didn't
Okay.
get
Okay. SG553R. Yep, that mag.
Problem child mag.
Yep. So as a pistol with a brace and the original 11.9-inch barrel plus flash hider, honestly, Jay and I were a little underwhelmed. It had a lot of flip and was just kind of there. Plus we had some feeding issues which we were attributing to the magazines, which are untested, but we weren't 100% sure. Either way, this definitely deserved another outing and another try, but not as a pistol. We have turned this into a carbine by adding a barrel extension. This is threaded 5/8 by 24, which is handy. And with the flash hider on, it was over 13.5 inches, 13.6, 13.7. So we only needed to extend it about 2.5 inches, not even quite that. So what we did, unscrewed the original flash hider, actually used a piece of an original barrel from another chop job, bored it out way past 30 caliber, screwed it or threaded it internally to screw onto the barrel, threaded it externally for the flash hider, the original Swiss flash hider, to screw on, and then pin and welded it in 2 positions. So now we have a barrel at 16.1, maybe even 16.05, but it is over 16, so that's what matters. Still have the 4-position gas regulator, grenade rings here. It does have the spot for a bayonet. Now with the longer barrel, a bayonet could still slide on. Got a standard Swiss sling, standard 553 handguards, which are actually modified 550 handguards. They cut them in half. You can also see they drill 5 holes in them. And that's actually what this indent has. This was the original bipod. And after we did the barrel extension, of course, we were able, legally, to install a stock. And this is the correct stock for a modern gun like this. This is the one that will fold and is also adjustable or collapsible with 3 positions. Fully out, it's about as long as a standard Swiss stock. And then when it's middle, it's about Warsaw length, and then fully in, it's shorter, mainly intended for use for storage or body armor. Typically, And of course, Swiss Arms will make a gun however anyone orders it, but typically the rule of thumb is if a gun comes with diopters, they ship it with the classic stock that doesn't adjust. And if it has a Picatinny rail, it will get the newer type of stock. So, set up like this is a carbine. How did she run? Well, let's look and see. SG553 Carbine. SG553R. 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 Last mag of the day. Still odd not to have a bolt hold open.
Yeah.
Alright, we're back. We ran several mags through it, and we had no problems at all with any type of ammo. So we can pretty safely conclude the first few hitches were definitely magazine related, as they appeared at the time. Here is the stock folded over. On the bottom you can see the adjustment. This is a very tight stock. Both folded, but mostly in the adjustment. To adjust it here, I'd have to slide it in, kind of bracing it. It's very tight, even fully exposed. It's not wobbly like your typical M4. We also tried it with these Arsenal mags, which some people have said don't really fit the 553R very well. We had no problems locking any of them in. We tried 4. All fit perfectly fine. And all fed perfectly fine, so we had no issues using Arsenal mags in this gun. So on to the verdict. Like I said, as a pistol, we were not really that pleased with how it shot. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't that much fun. But as a carbine, that totally reversed. This was a lot of fun to shoot in this configuration. It had very little muzzle rise or flip. Now part of it is we have a little extra mass out on the barrel, but this tube is hollow, so not much. Most of it is now that we have an inline stock that's straight. You know, with this arm brace, it kind of tilted it down at an angle. This is straight in, and it felt much better. Trigger is good. Bolt is smooth. We'd been shooting AKs all day at that point, and it threw me for a loop how much shorter of a bolt throw this has compared to your usual Kalashnikov. So that was kind of a funny realization. But yeah, this was actually probably going to be one I was going to sell if it didn't feel better to shoot. But now it was actually so much fun that this might be at least a keeper for a while. Maybe permanently, but its fate of going on the chopping block has been deferred because it was a hoot, and I don't have a 553 LB at the moment, so it's kind of nice to have one with a longer barrel. I always have liked this look in the kind of commando style with the short gas and the bulge in the barrel. And of course the gun oozes quality. Obviously after several mags the gas block was piping hot, but the handguards remained amazingly cool. Not even hot. the front was a little warm, but not even close to unpleasant. So good on the handguards for heat dissipation. None of the other parts on the gun got hot. Good trigger. And your typical Swiss ergonomics and quality. And for more on that, you can check out the playlist. We have tons of videos. So, conclusion, if you have a 553R, I would suggest either SBRing it, or if you don't want to or can't, depending on where you live, you can always get an extension. Thankfully, this is a standard thread pitch, so something can be made to work. I mean, you can always just get a long flash hider and put it on, but I wanted to keep the original Swiss, so I went to a little more trouble, and I'm happy I did. There was a conversation in our original video on this about if the Russians really did use this. As far as I know, and this comes from Swiss Arms, this was originally made for them, for the FSB, the government, essentially, in small quantities. That's why they used the 7.6239 cartridge. Why they wouldn't do AKs, I think there's a certain mystique to using Swiss guns, and again, they only needed a few hundred, and I suspect they were trying to run them suppressed and with optics, which probably at that time, 2007, 2008, the AKs of the day weren't up to. But after the Crimean incident, starting in 2014, because Switzerland wants to remain neutral, they backed out. They didn't exactly cancel the contract. They just refused to sign any new ones. So, but they are making these for other militaries. That's why we have them in the U.S. These were actually kind of, at least a lot of the parts, contract overruns. Obviously the receivers, the upper receivers are semi-auto only, and they never had the cutout, and the lowers are semi-auto only. But, you know, other parts like the bolts, the carriers, the gas systems, the furniture, the barrels, those can all be interchanged, so it made it easy to deliver some for us. So these are in limited use. There will never be a 545, according to Switzerland. That's because about the only major user of that cartridge today is Russia. And since they're not wanting to send guns to Russia, they aren't going to do it. They told Swiss Imports, JDI, that if they wanted to order 500 pieces, they might consider it. But that's not going to happen. Financially, that's not really plausible. And you'd really be hard-pressed to find 500 Americans willing to pay this kind of money for this gun and that caliber, when in reality, 5.56 is so similar to 5.45. And again, the future of ammo 5.45 is uncertain. But I've done a whole video on that, so if you'd like to hear my thoughts on AK-74s and the ammo, check that out. It was put out about a year ago, but not much has changed in the interim. So yeah, don't hold your breath for a 5.45 version. It's not coming. But this is a pretty cool one. And out of a 12-inch barrel, 7.6239 performs pretty darn well. So yeah, as a pistol, it was meh. But as a carbine, it was surprisingly fun. So, cool. I'm happy the time to make the extension and putting on the stock actually was worth it. If you have any questions or comments, please do post them below. If you could, like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to help support the channel, please check out the link to our Patreon page. This is Misha, and we will catch you very soon next time.